Tonight on TBN, the Masters Gala took months of preparation from parent volunteers. TBN learns about the planning efforts from the Gala chair, Jen Napo, and Director of Parent Engagement, Ami Servino. Hannah Schijano sits down with 4 senior recruited athletes about their motivations to pursue their sports at the collegiate level. Student actors trained to master the art of sword fighting for the spring production of William Shakespeare's Macbeth. All this and more next.
Good evening and welcome into the Tower Broadcast Newsroom. I'm Hannah Schijano.
And I'm Carol K. Ross, and we're recapping and following the latest news.
This year, the spring track team is bigger than ever, with over 60 upper school members. We caught up with Coach Ian Mook about how the season has gone with the increase in runners.
The upper school track team is off to a running start with their spring season, not only breaking school records at their meets, but also breaking the record for most members on a sports team at Masters this year. With a whopping 90 students participating, the team has had to adapt quickly to its exponential growth. Upper school math teacher and coach Ian Mook reflects on the challenges and triumphs of having such a large team to lead.
Sometimes the numbers cause logistical concerns, but I think one of the cool things that I've always found really fun about coaching track and being on a track team and in a track program is, unlike other teams where you have this like small, often like really close-knit, like imagine a squash team, right? It's like 10, 12 kids on a squash team. Our team is more like an ecosystem, and so there's it's a big job to like get everyone to feel like they're part of one group and on the same page. But also that's the challenge. I think that's what's partly really cool about coaching track is at the same time you're like getting 90 kids to go all to the same place and be on the same page. And that can be hard to do.
While so many students on one team can be challenging to manage at times, track veteran and senior Cameron Levitt expresses the joys he has found in watching the team grow.
We definitely have a lot more numbers. When I first joined in middle school, 7th grade, there was not as many people. I want to say about maybe 20 to 40, but now, like Mr. Mook said, there's 90 people on the track team. There's a lot more love for track, and I think that because there's a lot more love for track, people are a lot more inclined to show up to practice and give it their all.
With only a few meets left in their season, this team of 90 is almost ready to cross the finish line together. Carol K. Roz and Zara Suvanto, TBN, the Masters School.
Congratulations to the track team for such a successful season so far.
The Masters Spring Gala returned last month after a 3-year hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The evening was hosted by class of 1988 alumna Cara Diaguardi and performing arts teacher Kurt Ebersole. TBN speaks with Jen Napo and Ami Servino, who helped lead the planning efforts.
My role is sort of twofold, so I'm overarching I'm the person that's responsible for the event kind of from soup to nuts in terms of logistics, communication, all of the arrangements for the evening. We really want it to be inclusive of everyone in the community. I also am responsible for coordinating all of the parent volunteers, so whether that's the Gala committee or the parent association volunteers who help.
There was a lot of planning in terms of what the evening was going to look like, keeping with the theme of Our Night, Our Might, lighting, sound, table settings. There was a lot of preparation there. We worked with a wonderful decor company that helped us realize our vision for the evening.
Napo and Servino talked about some of the logistical challenges of the event.
We had planned on around 300 people, and 2 days before the event, our list had grown to 438 people.
If I don't remember to rent a certain kind of oven for the caterer or a certain size table that they need to prepare salads on, like it's a problem. So it's a lot of details.
I think the evening was a tremendous success. I think that everybody really enjoyed themselves. It was a big night for the school with our announcement of the public beginning of the capital campaign.
I think that every time we've done one, the Gala has kind of grown and become more sophisticated in terms of like the event experience and what it's like for a guest to attend. I think that like parents' engagement in the Gala and desire to support the school has only grown over the years.
The message here is that there's a lasting legacy at the school, and we're just going to continue to get stronger and improve our programming and have all these wonderful spaces.
Servino graduated from Masters in 1995, when it was still an all-girls school. She described what motivates her to do the work that she does.
Personally, I just have a debt of gratitude to the school that goes far beyond working here. So like what motivates me is the impact that this school made on who I am as a person in my life and what I see it do for my own child and for our students at large.
Hannah Schijano, TBN, the Masters School. It was so great to catch up with Jen Napo and Amis Rubino to learn more about the planning efforts because it really was such a big night for the school.
It absolutely was. From the student performers to everyone who helped organize the event, thank you so much for your contributions in making the gala such a special and memorable night.
The holy month of Ramadan has just passed, and several students in the community participated in the celebrations. TBN correspondents Zara Sabanto and Azaria Charles give us an in-depth look at what it means to observe this holiday.
My name is Azaria Charles. I spoke with Audrey Ngum, a master's student of Senegalese descent, and Koura, a Senegalese exchange student, about what Ramadan means to each of them. This spring, we welcomed 12 students from our sister school in Dakar, Senegal, and they were here with us to celebrate Eid, the festival that marks the end of Ramadan.
I started fasting around the age of 10 in 5th grade. Fasting usually starts once you've hit puberty, but I started fasting earlier just because I loved the experience of Ramadan and just all the benefits it gives you during the month. It was an amazing experience to have the Senegalese students come from Dakar to spend Ramadan here because especially like at the end, during Eid, we all got to celebrate together, eat food, just like laugh and dance. And also like the fact that they came during Ramadan, like we got to share the experience of fasting together and it wasn't like I was doing it alone.
My name is Koura, I'm 17. Well, it's easier in Senegal because you know that most people there are Muslim. The hardest part of like the Ramadan is not to listen to music, for example, because it's everywhere. Unlike the phone of your friend, on TV, on etc. etc. And not cursing if you're like used to say curse words and things like that. It's really the hardest part of fasting.
Thanks so much, Zari, for talking with Aji and Koura. Let's take a look at a day in the life of another master's student of Albanian descent who also celebrates Ramadan with her family.
My name is Sabora Sadriai. I am a junior and I'm going to be showing you a day in the life of Ramadan as somebody observing this religious holiday. If you don't know, I am Muslim. My entire family is. I grew up all my life surrounded by a large Muslim community with my family, especially as an Albanian spending my summers in Kosovo. Surrounded by a large community, we go to the same mosque together whenever Ramadan fell in summertime and I was spending my summers over there. We all did everything together, mosques together, prayers together, and especially dinners together. And yeah, so the general rules of Ramadan, it lasts for 30 days. You can't eat or drink water during the daytime. It's also more than just not eating or drinking. You try to abstain from a lot, from foul language, from talking poorly on anybody, from yelling, from getting so agitated. You try to keep it in a calm headspace and continue your day being more relaxed and calm. Right now, it is 4:11 a.m. This time is called Sahur, which basically you wake up right before the sun rises to feel energized and ready for the day. I usually eat something that's nutritious and will keep me filled up. I have apples and peanut butter here. I have a whole 24-liter water bottle to keep hydrated. I chug this whole thing before I go to sleep. All right, so it is currently 1:40 p.m. I would be having lunch right now. I'm feeling good. I'm not so hungry. Kind of got used to it after some time. Okay, it is currently 3:48. School day is over. We're on our way to Children's Village as our co-curricular. And yeah, very excited. I will see you guys when I get home. It is 7:31 p.m. right now. I am just waking up from an after-school nap. I've pretty much been taking a nap every single day after school during Ramadan, kind of just to recharge and just like I feel like I really need it, and it helps time pass a lot. And by the time I wake up, food's done. So dinner today is at 7:40 p.m. we call it iftar, which means the breaking of fast. When the sun goes down, there's no daylight, and you can eat and drink for the first time. So iftar today is at 7:40, and every day of Ramadan it goes 1 minute up. So last night iftar was at 7:39 p.m. And yeah, so I will check back in with a food review after dinner. Okay, we just had dinner. It was super good. I feel very stuffed, a lot more energized. And yeah, Adam here is gonna tell us what we had for dinner.
So we had potatoes and chicken, tomatoes, and we had a fruit salad. And then we had some candy, which was the mystery of Airheads.
Yeah.
And we had chocolate kisses.
Okay.
So
it was really good. Bye. Bye. Right. So that concludes my day in the life of Ramadan as someone observing the religious holiday. And yeah, it's pretty much nighttime. I'm getting ready for bed. Tomorrow is the last day of Ramadan on April 20th. The biggest religious holiday, which happens twice a year in the Islamic calendar, called Eid, is on this Friday on the 21st. Masters does not give us the day off, but I will have an excused absence to celebrate time with family. During this time, you're not fasting anymore. As I said, Ramadan's over. You're really grateful for breakfast and water and food during the daylight and at nighttime. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and bye.
Thanks to Aji, Cora, and Sabora for giving us insight on what Ramadan has meant to them. Azaria Charles
and Zara Suvanto for TBN. Thank you.
Next, Hannah sits down with seniors Sabine Godwin, Baird Ruska, Ashley Woodruff, and Demi Oni to learn more about their college recruiting process for their respective sports.
Good evening. I am joined by 4 Masters seniors who are committed to play their sport at the collegiate level. Congratulations to all of you on this huge accomplishment. So first, I want to start off with, when did you all first start playing your sport, and why did you decide to continue to pursue it in college?
I've been playing soccer as long as I remember, my whole life. 4 is when I joined my first AYSO team, and I wanted to keep playing in college because it's my favorite thing to do, and my dream is to hopefully play pro one day.
I started playing when I was about 12, and as soon as I stepped on the court, I fell in love with it. So I felt like continuing to play in college was just the right step for me because I really couldn't imagine my life without it.
So I started playing when I was pretty young, 7, 8, around then, first grade. And from then on, I don't know, it was kind of always in my mind that I was going to play in college. And my dad played in college, so it just kind of seemed natural.
I started playing in 2nd grade and my mom was the coach. Then I joined club in 4th grade, and so basically the expectation of my club team was that you're always going to end up playing college lacrosse. So it was kind of just ingrained in my mind that I was going to end up doing that.
And why did you all choose the colleges that you decided to attend for the next 4 years?
So for me, with the recruiting process, sometimes it's not always that smooth. I'm very grateful to Grinnell because they were the first school to, give me a concrete offer to play soccer at their school, and honestly, I kind of just, grabbed that opportunity by the scruff of its neck.
For me, I had a big 3 while going through the recruiting process. It was a good community, good academics, and good athletics, somewhere that had a goal and could take me places. And Stony Brook was one of the schools that I was looking at that had all 3. And as I was narrowing down my choices, Stony Brook had a lot more to offer than some other schools did.
I got a lot of preferred walk-on spots, stuff like that, but that's not really what I wanted. I kind of wanted a full commitment. So what ended up convincing me was going on my visit day, and that whole experience, meeting the coach, meeting some of the players, and I just I really vibed with it.
My process was kind of like Ashley. I knew what I wanted. First, it was a little unclear because I originally committed to Johns Hopkins, and then I realized that I wanted to be more than a lacrosse player and a student, that I wanted to have access to more things that I love to do.
Well, all the things you mentioned are very important to consider, definitely. And as some of you mentioned, the process can be very complicated, very challenging, sometimes very long. So what are some of the difficulties that some of you faced in the process?
For me, I had an interesting process. I didn't take I'd say, orthodox route. Like I didn't play much club soccer outside of school during my high school years, which is what most kids do. So a lot of my recruiting was based on, me like attending camps over the summer and also just doing my best to send coaches my mixtape of my school highlights.
For me, the recruiting process started pretty early. I got my first email and started emailing coaches around 8th grade. Throughout that time, I went through like a lot of schools that I fell in love with the coaches and fell in love with the players, but sometimes it just didn't work out for me, or there was a disconnect in one certain aspect that neither of us could really get past. So I guess the hardest part would just be finding schools that you could imagine yourself at.
My major interest didn't come till maybe junior summer, senior, and so it was really stressful over my junior year because I knew I wanted to play. But I ended up meeting a coach I really liked, and he liked my highlights and stuff.
I got led on by a few schools that I really liked, but in the end, you really find the school. Everyone says this, but you really find the school that you're supposed to be at. And it takes a little bit, and you really just have to trust the process and trust your gut.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it seems like you all have chosen places that you seem excited about to attend in just a few months. So what is the one thing that you're just most looking forward to once you step foot on your campuses?
Scoring goals. But I'll say just, playing again. When I'm in season, I'm just always in a better mood because regardless how my day goes, I have that thing at the end of the day to look forward to, being able to make those new bonds, new friendships with my teammates.
Not that many people get to do this and actually get to spend 4 more years of their life doing what they love, and to be able to do it at any college level is so amazing. So I'm so excited to do that and see where I can go from here.
To be honest, the biggest thing for me is just being part of a community, having a reliable group of people you can go back to. And of course I'm super excited to play at a higher level and experience that.
I'm just really excited to be with the girls. I've met a bunch of people from my class already, and they're amazing, and I love spending time with them. And also just upping the intensity of the game is so exciting. Everyone comes to practice with the same kind of intention and motivation as you. Is going to be really fun to be a part of.
Well, this is certainly an exciting time for all of you. You put in so much work over the last few years, and it has definitely paid off. So I can't wait to see what you all are going to be doing over the course of the next 4 years and even beyond. So congratulations once again, and thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me on TVN.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that piece, Hannah, and congratulations to all the student athletes who have been recruited to play in college.
The broadcast journalism class spent the last few weeks interviewing for and editing studio projects. Sophomore Hassan Saad brings senior Yuri Lee in to learn how to make kimchi. Take a look.
Hi everyone, this is Hassan Saad and this is Yuri Lee, and today we're going to make kimchi together. So Yuri, tell us a bit about yourself and your background of making kimchi.
Sure. Hi, my name is Yuri Lee. I'm from South Korea. I'm a senior at the master's school. And I've been making kimchi with my family during the national holiday back in Korea. And based on that recipe, I'm here to introduce how to make kimchi for you guys.
Alright, so what ingredients do we have in front of us right now?
Sure. Right now I have napa cabbage. This is originally bred in Korea. It's one of the national cabbage we have. We first of all, before coming to the stage today, we used an hour before the time to make sure that we submerge this under water, salt water, to make sure the cabbage is weak and ready enough to roll it into kimchi. Another one we have here is the sauce. It's I mixed the pepper here, garlic and salt and sugar. Usually it's great to have anchovy sauce and shrimp sauce, but in the case we're in America, it was difficult to get the ingredients, therefore it is still completely fine to have the sauce as without it.
So we can start making the kimchi. What's the first step?
First of all, since we already prepared the cabbage here, we make sure that it's completely dry off from the water. And then what you do is that you make sure the sauce is just all the way around the place. Kimchi is a fermented food, right? So even after we put on the sauce, it's not completely ready to eat. In a short period, I say a day, and the maximum you can even ferment for 6 months, because back in my family, during Seoul Night, which is like our national day, we come all together to our grandma's house. And what we do is that our entire family, we start making kimchi for the entire town actually, not just for the family, so that, you know, everyone can enjoy the feast. And it's just the way how our culture works. We have to share the food we make. And
tell us more about this national holiday. What is it called again?
Oh, it's Seoul Night. Actually, it's also known as like a Lunar New Year in America. And so it's not really official day to make kimchi, but it's really recommended to make that day, so that 6 months later it is fully fermented and it's completely ready to eat during the summertime. Also, like speaking of my background though, I've been boarding since 3rd grade, like 9 years old, and I really didn't have a lot of time to like reconnect with my family. And I think that the day you make kimchi with your family in the Lunar New Year is like the one day in my life that I would like hang around with my family, and it's definitely like it means a lot to me in the sense that it's just that I just didn't not have a lot of time with my family.
And you think this kimchi could taste similar or kind of similar to the kimchi your family makes back in Korea?
Well, there must be difference in the sense that we did not use the anchovy sauce and shrimp sauce, and we're not going to spend a lot of time fermenting. But the thing is, there's a type of kimchi that you just don't have to ferment a lot, and what it leaves is that it gives more of a fresh bite into it. It's not as weak, it's more of a strong like a bite there is, but which I believe there are a lot of Koreans who love it so much at a point that fermenting for 6 months is actually very uncommon.
So that's why you had to use gloves.
That is true. If I didn't, probably like smear it into my fingernails, it'd be difficult to like clean off.
Yeah, because the garlic smell is very strong in the room right now.
Very strong.
They look very delicious.
I think you have to also realize the fact that this food is the type of one that needs a lot of patience. The fact that you have to wait a lot. It's all about the waiting process, actually not the making process.
Yeah.
So
this was the last one.
Okay, can you close the lid for me?
Sure.
Okay. Well. And the way you ferment it is that traditionally speaking, you bury it under the ground, but that's really not necessary. You can still put it in the refrigerator or like leave it outside. As long as you have the good environment to ferment it, it's completely fine.
Alright, so we have our kimchi right here, made by our amazing master student Yuri Lee. And thank you very much for coming with us today on set. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Hassan and Yuri. It was so great to learn more about Yuri's connection to this special dish.
We hope you all try out a kimchi recipe very soon. The spring production of William Shakespeare's Macbeth is set to open next week on the 17th through the 20th. And this year, student actors took on a new theatrical challenge to bring the violent tragedy to life.
On the steps of Graduation Terrace, rehearsals for the spring production of William Shakespeare's renowned tragedy Macbeth are underway. Taking place in 11th century Scotland, the story follows a Scottish general who is quickly set on a path of treachery and violence. But preparing for Macbeth takes more than just memorizing lines and blocking. It also requires students to master the art of stage combat. Throughout the spring season, student actors have been pushing themselves to learn the art of sword fighting and choreograph elaborate fight scenes. Under the guidance of upper school theater teacher and director Meg O'Connor, they've been honing in on their skills and embracing the challenges of this unique aspect of theater. Sophomore Josie Leff, who is double cast as Lord Banquo and Thane Angus in the production, shares what she has enjoyed most throughout the process of learning this art form.
I think the most exciting part has probably been working with your partner to sort of like piece together the different moves and make a fight that like makes sense with your characters, because it's really fun. You get to talk about like your characters' different levels of experience and what their motives are for fighting, and that adds into like what they're actually going to be doing in the scene, because there's a reason for every move that somebody makes in a fight. So it's been really fun trying to sort of piece that all together and make it like work like a real fight.
This specialized combat skill requires precision, control, and most importantly, safety. Cast members have been working hard to learn the sword fighting basics, such as footwork, hand positions, and timing to create their choreography. They've also been learning how to sell their fights to the audience to make them look authentic and exciting on stage. Sophomores Ali Tartar and Emerson Ryder, who play Lady Macduff and Servant respectively, walk us through the fight choreography they have created for the show and tell us how they incorporated all these aspects into their combat.
There were a lot of different moves that we learned, and we were really excited to fit all of them in.
but then it got really hard to remember. I think we did a lot of like sword logic stuff.
Yeah.
Like we wanted to add moves, and then we're like, this doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Like I could probably just stab you instead of doing whatever move. So it was really, really fun, but it was really hard to try and come up with all the moves that made sense in order.
I think it's a lot more athletic than people tend to give it credit for. Yeah, we spent a lot of time just kind of like learning stuff at the beginning, just like technique and attacks and defense and like bent knees and athletic stances and things like that. So one, it looks cool, and two, it's kind of just easier to do. And yeah, it is kind of hard to keep it all straight, which is why we like wrote our moves down and stuff like that so we could remember that.
Sorry for, stabbing you to death.
Yeah, it's okay. I forgive you.
I think that it's going to be such a cool experience to come see sword fighting, because I remember on one of the first days that we were learning our fighting, when two people who had already learned some basics did it in front of us with the steel swords and going quickly, and I was just mesmerized. And so I think the audience, like seeing like a whole battlefield and all of the costumes and the blood and the like the screaming and stuff, I think it's going to be very like immersive and cool.
Carol K. Ross, TBN, the Master's School.
And that's all we have time for here tonight on Tower Broadcast News.
Unfortunately, this is Hannah and I's last time anchoring the broadcast before we go off to college in the fall.
Thank you so much to Mr. Becker and Miss Cowie for all of your support with TBN.
And thank you so much to the Tower Broadcast News crew and viewers like you. You're what helps keep this broadcast going.
And remember to subscribe to Tower Broadcast News on YouTube and follow @MastersTower on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Hannah Scujano.
And I'm Carol K. Ross. And from all of us here on the TBN staff, have a great night.